Hi guys, and welcome back to my Minecraft Let's Play series. Today, we have lots to do. If you watched last episode, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't watched it, please go do that. It really could use the views, goddammit. With that being said, we have lots to do, and, never enough time in the day. So let's just hop into it and look at our book. That being, talk to the people about the goblins, get their approval. Because I prefer not to, create a stink by, oh yes, you can totally come here, and then everyone fucking hates me. Build some more houses so that said goblins, might have a place to stay, or if they want to build their own place, they have options. Build up more of the pathways, and build a create press. That last one is kind of debatable if I'll get around to this episode. We'll see how much I actually get done. But, yeah. Hello, Willow. I'll talk to you in a sec. But I'm thinking, again, more houses over here, building the pathway out here, connecting up that to there. Stuff like that. Pretty minute path working, but necessary stuff. But, Willow, how's it going? Hey, Bookleton, sorry about last night. I had no idea what the chief was planning. It's fine. No one got hurt. So it's not a big deal, really. Honestly, no point in getting bent out of shape when he had a pretty reasonable request and didn't threaten my life. I will never understand how you can be so chill about all of that, but I guess I'm going to have to take your word for it. So, how goes convincing people so far? I'm about to actually go do that. A bit presumptuous that I've already done it. I mean, it's early in the morning, but thank you, I guess, for your confidence in me. Well, good luck, because you'll need it, buddy. Hopefully this goes well. I mean, to be fair, no one made a big stink when you're around, so I don't see a reason why, a few more won't cause that big a problem. But, yeah. I also got around to putting a sign here to indicate that this was my abode. And luckily, I got a glowing sack, because I found a glow squid and murdered it. But, we should probably talk to the other people and demonstrate where I'm going to be building, because, for example, I want to build a house here. And I might actually clear out my old house so, someone can live in here. But we'll see. Again, work in progress. But maybe build some houses here, might not. Again, where I place the houses is still up for debate, as I am still deciding on where I want that to be. But, yeah. Let's go talk to you. Hello there. Hello, I believe your name is Bookleton's, right? Pleasure to meet you. My name is Lavender. That's correct, and it is a pleasure to meet you, Lavender. I was wondering if I could chat with you about something rather important. Okay. Alright then. What do you need to discuss with me? Yeah, that's pretty much... There's not enough... Yeah, explain the goblin situation to her. Well, as long as they promise to avoid causing trouble, I see no reason not to let them stay here. Everyone should have a place to call home, after all. Fair enough. Much appreciated, Lavender. Hope you I wonder when you're gonna decide to build a house. Or if you're just gonna, leave. Then it was pretty pointless talking to you, but oh well. Stephen. The person I need to see. And his brother, David. So, we'll chat with that shortly. Hey, Bookletons, how's it going? Pretty good, all things considered. Could you chat with me about something? It's kind of important. Fair enough, just as long as it doesn't take too long. I promised Gertrude I would help her build her house. Then I'm free to lend a hand. This won't take long. Explain to him the goblin situation. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, they did kind of need a place to stay, so yeah. Well, I'm fine with it personally, but you should probably ask everyone else before you say yes to the guy. But it's strange, because that sounds oddly familiar for some reason, and I can't remember why that is. If you want, I would be willing to talk to Gertrude and try to convince her. That would make my life a lot easier, as I have a lot of people to talk to, and a lot of, ground to cover. Not enough time in the day. That would make my life a lot easier. No problem, man. I'm pretty sure I can convince her. He looks rather confident in himself. Well, Stephen, that's good to hear. Yeah. What's going down, Gertrude? Okay, I just need to gather a couple more things, then I'll be ready to start building. Fair enough. God dang it, why does it... It rains here a disproportionately large amount. It is a problem, but, David, how's it going? Hello, Booktons. Came to cheer me on while I show my brother what a real house looks like? Not quite. I have a rather personal question I need to ask you. I see, unfortunate, but fair enough. Well, what's the question you have for me? Through my many deals as a merchant, I have gained much knowledge. How may it be of service? Yeah, this ain't straightforward, buddy. You explained to him the goblin situation. Huh, that is rather strange, because I recently heard rumors from one of my merchant buddies before I came here. A lot of small villages have been dropping like flies as of late. Wonder if it's related at all. But, back to the matter at hand, I'm okay with it, with them staying here, as long as they follow the rules and don't steal my stuff. Fair enough. Fair enough indeed. Well, I think that's pretty much everyone, but yeah, I'm going to demonstrate what I plan to do. Because I'm thinking like expanding the path out here some ways is the plan, and maybe connect it up here, and build like household houses in this area, because I have been kind of developing all over here, and not as far into there. And I do plan to build more there, because it's literally a nice flat space, or relatively flat. But I will need to do some terraining to make it suitable. Then again, I've got a lot of dirt. I'm sure I can fill in some of these holes and level it out here or there. But with that being said, let's just get into it. And I'll be back in a moment. Bop. And we're back. And I'm ready to show you all the work I did, which was surprisingly a lot more and not much at all. And yeah, we're going to first, though, show you off what a little accident happened before we get into our more interesting stuff over here. But I was just wandering around here, basically passing through, doing some, resource gathering. And there was a chicken wandering around here. It laid a rotten egg. Now, if you don't know, I have a mod called the Ice and Fire mod installed. Basically adds a lot of different mythological creatures, dragons, hydras, cyclops, all that kind of cool stuff. And one of the creatures that is in the mod is called a cockatrice. Basically think dragon chicken, for lack of a better term. And it has like a ridiculously low chance of spawning from these rotten eggs when you throw them, like a regular chicken does from a regular egg. And there was just one right here. I picked it up, yeeted that thing because I didn't want it in my inventory and I wasn't really thinking. And, well, because of that, I now have this distinguished gentleman now hanging out in my base. Which I'm thinking of calling him Nugget, because of his brown feathers. If he was white, I'd call him Mr. Feathers, but you're going to be called Nugget, I think. Unless someone suggests something way funnier. Yeah, you're just Nugget. And ironically, he kind of fits my little garden aesthetic unintentionally, which is hilarious to me. But honestly, I love him. I love him for no good reason. So, yeah, I have now a cockatrice named Nugget. And like, normally, you'd farm these guys for the withered bones so you can make different weapons. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to keep him around because it's kind of hilarious looking. But I might have to make him like a little hut here or something. I don't know. You are fan-freaking-tastic, though. But now let's get into the actual builds, which, honestly, I think I did pretty alright. I did one refurbishment and two original builds and one slightly altered build over there, which we will get to. But let's just quickly sleep the night away, so that way we have no real big issues. And we can kind of see the builds in the bright of day. Which, honestly, this is the biggest build I did, and I really wanted to spice things up with how I built. Because I have a habit of just falling into the same pattern again and again and again. And if you've watched me for long enough, you can definitely see that. So I wanted to, try and branch out, and this build was definitely where I tried that the most. Well, taking elements that I've done before and really like, and adding them to it. Those being the little flower pots underneath the windows, and the trim on the top of the house. I did take, ironically, inspiration from this build and use some of it here. As you can see, like the copper roof and or the deep slate. But I honestly changed that up with a couple different colors and experimented with different parts to see how it looked. And honestly, like, there's maybe one bad angle that this thing looks at, and that's merely coincidence because of the interior. Like, I think the back end is where it really is like, nothing special, but it definitely functional. But as you can see, as we go inside, you'll see why it looks that way. And, yeah, I went for a lot more darker colors, a lot of my favorites, like dark oak and spruce. As you can see, the downstairs isn't anything special. It just has a couple rooms in it. You know, cellar type area. You could probably have a bedroom down here if you wanted to. But again, I might get around to decorating this. Might not. Depends if a villager gets in here or not. But basically, I also made sideways fire pits, which are not normally my thing, but I really like how this one turned out. Especially considering it's a multi-floor thing, and multi-floor fire pits are kind of my jam. Also, you know, chimneys as well, as you can clearly see. It's just another one. Thank goodness we're not in the modern era, though. We'll get to that later. But, yeah. Basically, as you can see, it's a pretty standard build. Nothing too fancy. But I wanted a larger, more open build, and one place that felt a bit different than what I normally would have done. So, yes. While we're over here, we're going to quickly just show, like, the little pressing area I made. It's nothing too crazy. Added some vines here, so it kind of, you know, looked like that naturally. But otherwise, it's pretty darn good. But basically, it's just a place the metal, it pounds it, nothing too crazy. Didn't feel like making a conveyor belt for this one, just because it was, again, supposed to be a filler build, and a functional one more than anything else. And you can have, you know, pre-pounded and unpounded materials on the same thing, so it doesn't really matter. I don't think I'll be using it too crazily, though honestly, a factory with, like, just multiple of them going off is, it is amazing. But it is impractical and not really necessary. And I am kind of lazy, and I really do need to build a steam engine. But that is just, like, far off in the future, and we'll maybe work on towards that in a future episode. Anyways, we should probably talk to Willow and maybe get her to go chat with the chief, because we did get confirmation that we can have all the goblins come and live here, because we got basically everyone to say yes. So, yeah. Alright, Willow. How's it going? So, Bookletons, how did convincing everyone go down? Surprisingly well. If you could let... yeah, if you could let the village chief know, or I should say the goblin chief, that would be much appreciated. Yeah. Really? Well, alright then. I will let him know. Things are about to get interesting around here real quickly, that's for sure. She seems unsure, to say the least. Well, I guess you know them more personally, but I think it will work out fine. Again, I built another smaller house, very much inspired by the early vanilla design with some obvious changes and alterations to fit more my kind of thing. I might put a barrel here like a trash can, but nothing crazy. I don't want this build to, you know, distract too much from everything else. But as you can see, I also expanded the pathway out here. Not too much, as you can probably see on the mini-map, but I did want to do some little touch-ups here and there. And we'll get to that build in a moment, but I think I want to chat with everyone else and see how they're doing before I get a little too, you know, carried away. Because I think, I guess this is her place now. Alright, now that I finished building this place, I will need to start decorating it. And I also need to get a gift for Steven to thank him for helping me. Fair enough. Well, you guys did get a pretty darn good job, and honestly, it looks pretty swell, all things considered. Anyways, let us begin. Steven, how's it going? So, what have we learned from this, Maybe that things aren't as easy as they look? Yeah, I don't think this is called, finished. Okay, maybe you were right, and maybe a bit off more than I could handle. But you got to admit that once I'm done, it will be, let's see, pretty great. Fair enough. Fair enough indeed. Well, we're going to now get to this build, which honestly I think is pretty good. It's a slightly modified version of what you can find in the goblin like camps, basically where the shaman normally would sit and hang out. And honestly, I like the idea of it so much that I wanted to build it and have like this very natural build. And as we look inside before we talk to Lavender, you can see I decided to get a little creative and funky with the colors to spice things up. As it honestly works though. Like the blue and the green on the inside, you don't really see it on the outside. It looks very natural. And inside doesn't feel claustrophobic or small. It feels very bright and colorful. And that was kind of my intention. Honestly though, if there was one thing I'd probably alter is maybe have a chimney. Just because it, like, you know, would complete things. But that's just a very particular design feature I like way too much. But, yes. Anyhow. Lavender. This place is exactly what I need. With a few additions, it will be perfect. Well, that's great to hear, honestly. But, yeah. Honestly, I expanded the path a bit more out here. Again, I'll expand it more out that way when time comes. But I gotta, you know, work on some builds a bit closer to home. That being my plans for next episode. Those being some more create options. And honestly, some just better farms. So that way I can, you know, benefit from that. Because having composters like that I could just dump all the excess produce into and then have it turn into bone meal. Really useful, to say the very least. And again, there are a couple creations from Create that I want to work on, and some greenhouses over there, and just generally, you know, making this a lot more efficient. And maybe, again, that's depending on how much time, then we'll eventually have to get it to moving all of these bad boys out of here, and into a proper, you know, enclosure, a proper area, a proper farm. But yeah, my chickens produce a lot of eggs, but I just had a random rotten one, and that's how we got Nugget. Our beloved chicken. Like, it's not a very common spawn for the rotten eggs, so yeah. I'm very proud of how that ironically turned out. Like you can see. Not a lot of chickens from that. But, yeah. If you enjoyed this episode, it would be much appreciated if you could leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe. We're getting closer. We're so close to that 50 subscriber goal. Please subscribe, I'm begging you. With that being said, I'll see you guys next time on my Minecraft Let's Play. Bye!